of Kenny Siegelman. Let's get a round of applause. We gotta liven everybody up. The sun is out. Kenny is with us.
Yes.
And he says, "What are you doing today?" He's looking down upon us. Today's a great day. And we are gathered here today to honor a beloved member of our community, Ken Siegelman.
Yay!
Before we begin, I'd just like to acknowledge those elected officials who have joined us today. First, our wonderful Brooklyn District Attorney, Charles Joe Hines. Assemblyman Alex Brooke Krasny. District Leader Bernie Katcher. Great to see you, Bernie. Female District Leader Roberta Sherman. Welcome. Our wonderful District Leader Michael Geller. Very good friend of the Siegelmans. We have Supreme Court Judge Arthur Schack. Tina Chang, the current Poet Laureate of Brooklyn. And of course, as everyone can see, Mr. Brooklyn himself, for our wonderful Republic, none other but Marty Markowitz. We've also been joined by his family, his beautiful wife, Pearl, his twin daughters, Karen, his three grandchildren, Brooke, Matthew, and Rachel. Ken Siegelman is remembered as a poetic visionary whose work will forever remain a part of Brooklyn's history. Over 200 of his poems have been accepted for publication in 20 journals in 14 states. Ken has published 9 books of poetry and has been recognized by the New York Times as having written the most poems about Brooklyn. Marty, that makes me very happy. But he has more than been accomplished as a poet. He was a dedicated member of our community, a great father, and someone who really, really cares. For 33 years, he was a social studies teacher in Abraham Lincoln High School, and through his work as a teacher, he was able to unite students from various ethnicities and backgrounds through a mutual interest of poetry and writing. Ken's devotion to Brooklyn is clear in his poetry. He found his inspiration in neighborhoods like Gravesend, Bensonhurst, Brighton Beach, and Coney Island, with work that showed us beauty in everyday life. He achieved his lifelong dream on January 24th, 2002, when Brooklyn Borough President Marty Markowitz appointed him Poet Laureate for Brooklyn. He was an appropriate and fitting tribute to his talent. Soon after, he was recognized by Sandra Feldman and the U of T, who presented him with the John Benzel Award. Ken also initiated Poetry Outreach, which provided Brooklyn poets with an opportunity to come together and share their talents with the community. These are just some of the countless awards and recognitions he received throughout his career. They even did a great documentary about him, which I was in.
Yes.
Time when he did that?
You didn't see it yet. You have to see it.
His legacy of dedication and diligence and his amazing talent will never be forgotten. But like all great writers, he lives on through his work. Last Thursday was Poem in Your Pocket Day, one of my favorite days of the year. I used to be the cultural czar of New York, now I'm the finance chairman, but I still love poetry and writing. And every this past Thursday was Poem in Your Pocket Day, where teachers and people throughout the education system and the students carried a poem in their pocket. And so this year I said, I'm going to honor Ken Siegelman by having one of his poems in my pocket. And I carried this poem throughout the day. I read it to students, and before I started the finance hearing, I read his poem in his honor. And it was called Leo. It was about the pigeon keepers in Bensonhurst. It illustrates Ken's ability to show us the beauty in everyday life. And I just want you people that you should read that poem. It's beautiful. And not only did I carry it in my pocket for that day, my daughter Brianna, who goes to Mark Twain, she carried it. She's here today. And my other daughter Daniela carried it in her pocket because you have to bring a poem. And she's a 5th grader. And we spoke about Kenny's poem and what Ken Siegelman meant, not only to me, but to our community. And what better way to honor him. So today we have a street renaming. It's a great honor. At this time, I'd like to call up our wonderful borough president, Marty Markowitz.
Very much, Don. Thank you. Thank you for doing this, introducing the bill in the City Council, and of course for its passage. And if you want to get an idea what Ken meant to all of us within this group here, we have more elected officials than I've seen in almost any event. And believe me, district leaders, civic leaders, unbelievable. It shows the love and respect that Ken earned through his great work. I feel good because Ken's dream of being recognized for his great work as Brooklyn Poet Laureate, I have to tell you, was paid over and over because he became the best known poet laureate in New York City. He took a position, this is a pro bono, no pay to this position, and he took this position and he brought it to life. And he spent his time nurturing aspiring poets, and through Ken I found out that maybe half the population are aspiring poets. And most everybody I meet, it's true, has written something along the way and secretly believes that they've written very well. So, you know, he recognized that and he brought it out. He was blessed by his family, and Pearl, you couldn't have a better life mate, that is for sure, than Pearl, who was you might say, the boss alongside, and yes, alongside, sometimes handicap. But anyway, let me, if I may, I don't normally read up my proclamations during the event, but because I wrote it, I'm going to read it ever so briefly, and I think this sums up my feelings and all of Brooklyn. Brooklyn joins with Pearl, family, friends, colleagues, and admirers of Brooklyn's Poet Laureate, Ken Siegelman, of blessed memory, as they gather to honor him with the co-naming of the corner of Wolf Street and West 5th to Ken Siegelman Way, to acknowledge his passing and to recognize his extraordinary life career contributions to poetry, and whose love of the written word and commitment to using poetry in education has deeply influenced many. On behalf of all Brooklynites, we salute the memory of Ken, a most respected and beloved son of Brooklyn, longtime resident of Gravesend, who left us far too soon, and whose influence and body of work culminated in him being named Brooklyn Poet Laureate, and whose poetry will continue to be read and felt among the world of words for the decades to come. But particularly here in Brooklyn, an educator for more than 3 decades, he used poetry to bridge a language gap between his students and the lessons they needed to learn. In addition to his hosting Brooklyn Poetry Outreach that featured monthly poetry readings and discussion by some of Brooklyn's best and aspiring poets, a man whose gift was nurturing up-and-coming poets and sharing the beauty of poetry with the world. A tireless advocate for the medium that he loved resulted in his life, as we know, being documented in the film Fading to Zero. And although he will be sorely missed, his words will remain to inspire those poets yet to come. A man who made the job of Poet Laureate the most sought-after honorary position in Brooklyn's history. All because of his single-handed ability to make poetry cool, Brooklyn style. And I join with his beloved wife Pearl, his daughters Kara and Karen, the family members, countless friends, and admirers who have come to pay tribute to him today as he is memorialized by the city of New York with this distinguished honor. And so, on behalf of all of you and 2.5 other million Brooklynites, declare this day Ken Siegelman Street Co-Naming Celebration Day in Brooklyn, USA. Congratulations.
We also have with us Kenny's sister Monica with us.
Mona. enough.
At this time, I also like to call up, we've been joined by State Senator Marty Golden, Councilman Mike Nelson. This time I'd like to call up State Senator Carl Kruger.
Thank you so much, Dominic. It's a tribute that we're here today to honor the memory and the good work of Kenny Siegelman. You know, I'm not a person that, delves into poetry much. But I have to say, in no uncertain terms, he brought a new dimension and a new focus to the written word. He summarized in his thoughts encapsulized so much of the ideas that so many people around him wished to share and did not know how to articulate. Marty summed it up best, and we're all in our own words going to say it. But Kenny Siegelman was a person of unique talent. Someone, not only an educator, not only a community activist, but somebody that wanted to leave a legacy for generations that we will never know. Something that someone can sit down and reflect upon and read and share with others around him. So today, as we co-name this street and we memorialize his memory, to Pearl and to the Siegelman family, and to everyone that touched Kenny's lives in ways that they'll never know, never appreciate, or never fully understand. Kenny suffered, but he suffered in a way that gave us all inspiration, in a way that gave us all an understanding of what humanity is and what the hope of a brighter tomorrow can be. So from my family to the Siegelman family and to everyone that touched his life, Kenny Siegelman, God bless you.
We've also been joined by Dottie Turano, Community Board 18, Chairman. We also have with us Judge Sunshine, welcome, and Nancy Sunshine, the County Clerk for the Borough of Brooklyn. At this time, call up State Senator Marty Golden.
I'll tell you, he would be very proud looking down here. I've never seen so many judges and elected officials at any one event at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. That's pretty good. And they're here for the right reasons, though. They really are. Because Ken, Pearl, he was lit up your life. For Kara, Karen, Mona, all of you. So good morning. And I want to thank my good friend, City Councilman Dominic Recchia, for making this street renaming so that we can honor the accomplishments of Ken Siegelman, a reality here at the corner of West 5th Street between Avenue V and Wolf Place. Today, we give honor to a man who was a beloved Gravesend resident, a teacher, a publisher, writer, poetry. He influenced the lives of many people across Brooklyn and throughout this great city and beyond. We remember Ken this morning, who was rightly named by our Borough President Marty Markowitz in January of 2002 to be Brooklyn's Poet Laureate, a man who brought poetry alive here in Brooklyn for so many young and old alike to enjoy and to be intrigued by. Ken was a man who we will surely miss, but I know that his words will continue to inspire us. Ken authored more than 200 poems, and his great talent inspires, challenges our minds to think. Ken made Gravesend proud. Ken made Brooklyn proud. Ken made the great city of New York proud, and Ken left a legacy of words that will be with us forever. And so today, we inscribe his name in the sky above his beloved Gravesend. Today, we accept the challenges that Ken left us. He passed away unexpectedly at the age of 63 years of age. The challenge to make sure that his legacy lives on, the challenge for us to tell his story, to share his great achievements, and to make sure that his words and his life continue to inspire our generations and those in the future. I guess when looking at the life of Ken and all that he accomplished, his life echoes that of what a poet once said when she said, "I write poetry in order to live more fully." because there is no denying that Ken Siegelman lived full and lived an accomplished life. So again, to Pearl, Karen, Mona, to all of the family here today, to all of the friends that have gathered from around the city, and to the generations that will come in the future. May God bless and watch over Ken's family, his wife, his daughters, his grandchildren, his sisters, his friends, and his many, many readers of poetry, because he is a man that has made a difference in a whole lot of lives.
This time, we'd also like to recognize Teresa Scavo from Community Board 15. Welcome. And former district leader and good friend, Hal Epstein. And Dr. Billy Katz from Kingsborough. Joining us today. And at this time, I'd like to call up Assemblyman Alex Brooke-Krasny.
Good morning. Good morning, Paul and family, dear friends, dear colleagues. Dominic, thank you so very much for great initiative. It is a wonderful day for Brooklyn. It's Ken Siegelman's day, but it's also Poetry Day. It's a very incredible cultural celebration in Brooklyn. And Brooklyn, as we know, is very, very diverse. And Ken used his talent not only to promote Brooklyn in poetry, but to promote unity and diversity in his position as a teacher in Lincoln High School. And we in 46th Assembly District, we cherish his memory and his poetry, not only as a great poet, but as a great teacher, who was able through the poetry provide a bridge for many, many students and parents in Lincoln High School, provide a bridge even in a situation when some people would possess the lack of understanding of English in the first years of the presence here in the United States. And Siegelman was the great poet, a great teacher, a wonderful man. And if you want to see his compassionate and loving side, go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and see how Ken Siegelman is reading a poem by first grader. First grader, his last name is Toulouse, first name is Under Toulouse. Just look at how he's doing it, and you will understand how great Ken Siegelman was, not only as the poet, but as a person. Thank you very much, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you,